Hey everyone, I went out for a little walk, just 20 minutes, and I came back. It's the first time I've been out this week, and I'm hoping to get more walks in, more swims in. But it was nice. I just go up the road and I come back. I tell the security guards when I'm going out, because there have been some problems in the building. One of my neighbors had a break-in. So I always tell them when I'm going out, even if I'm going to a concert or something, I tell them, and then I tell them when I come back so that they know. I've also got cameras set up all over my apartment, at the main entrances, like to my entrance to my home, the balcony. I put cameras in. And that's a little bit of a deterrent, but yeah, Toronto's not safe anymore. When I came here, it was very, very safe. And I happened to come when there was a pandemic. So I was living in Mississauga, and then people were like, you can't go into Toronto, there's a contagious pandemic. I don't know, I can't remember what it was. But anyway, I live here now, so it was interesting. And I was watching the Mass from Knox Shrine and listening to the homily. Father Richard Gibbons had a homily this morning where he was, that famous story about the princess that loses her way home and then she has to kiss the frog, and she doesn't kiss the frog, so the frog follows her home, and then her father says, the king says, you do have to kiss the frog, you have to honor your promise. And of course the frog changes into a prince. But for us in Canada, all the princes have changed into frogs. So I guess we have to keep our faith in the real prince, and the prince who will make things right when he eventually comes, when he returns. And until that day, we have to put up with all the frogs, unfortunately. All the frogs get voted into power, they ruin the country, they put us into poverty, they coordinate it so that all their friends get the nominations to run for political parties and for the top jobs in the banks. They get them all the promotions, because after all, it takes a certain kind of mindset to live without caring about what happens to your neighbor, what happens to your country, what happens to your community. In a fair world, it wouldn't be me being hauled to the police station. In a fair world, we wouldn't have had apartheid. In a fair world, we wouldn't have had a civil war in Rhodesia. In a fair world, I would be in an executive job paying me over 100,000 a year. And it wouldn't have been now, it would have been back in 2007. But you do what you can to shift the needle a little bit. And, the rest is in God's hands. Unfortunately, it takes, and I'm not prepared to go to jail. So, it's 27 years. I left in 1999. I left Zimbabwe. I went to England, and then I came here thinking that, I'll be fine. I'm going to get into a good paid job. I'm going to do well. Lo and behold, you feel awful when you have to take money from family, from friends. You have to set up GoFundMe links. I mean, it's an awful feeling. It's not like I'm working for the church. If I was working for the church, I would get into fundraising and I would say, this is what we're looking for and this is what we need. But it's very embarrassing when you come from the top university of South Africa, and you come here and they welcome you with open arms. Oh yeah, we need graduates. We need people like you. Oh yeah, your papers have gone through. And then you come here and they don't even want to give you a job packing boxes. They don't even want to give you anything. And you work hard, you buy a place for you and your mother, and then the banks don't want to renew the mortgage, so you lose everything. And meanwhile, all the frogs are continuing to have big fat bank accounts. They're getting richer and richer. They're traveling the world. They're getting the red carpet treatment. They're getting to meet the popes. They're getting to meet all the rock stars. And those of us who actually should be getting that kind of treatment, we're not getting anything. So Maybe in the next life, if we're lucky. But we count our blessings because we're not on the street, and hopefully we will not be on the street. Hopefully this government will put in a basic income or put something in that will help the people like me who have worked our butts off for Canada, represented Canada on the world stage at big events, political meetings, town halls, and we get treated like dirt. That's what I say. I mean, it's ridiculous. I'm not giving up on my dream of setting up something to help the underprivileged of my own, because I wasted too many years supporting Bono, supporting this one campaign. I always stepped up for them and nothing came of it for me. So I'm not giving up on my dreams and my hopes. And the fairy tales we listen to, those fairy tales are not relevant today. The fairy tales that are relevant are like the Hansel and Gretel. They used to instill a little bit of fear in you, a little bit of caution, a little bit of, be careful. If you go walking in the woods, you might get captured by the witch and she might put you in a cage. We need those kinds of fairy tales now, because what's happening in our world and what's happening in Canada and happening to me, it's awful. It's awful what's happening. This is not, people who live in my building are not rich. They're all people like me who are going through financial hardships, difficulties, hardworking people, honest people, trying to get by. And you don't even feel secure in your own home. You don't feel safe. Every night before I go to sleep, I put my faith in the Lord and I say, Lord, please keep me safe and bring me safely to morning's light. Protect me when I'm at home in my unit. Keep me safe, Jesus. I pray that every day. No, you don't feel safe in Toronto. Not anymore. Maybe once. Because you know why? The princes changed into frogs, like Justin Trudeau and Mark Carney and all these elitists that are ruling our planet. They all changed into frogs. That's what I say. And all the executive in the bank, what are they doing? Are they doing anything to help me? To get me into a good paying job? Are they doing anything? They're not.